welcome back to the We'll Take It From Here podcast, guys. Another week, another episode. This episode is sponsored by Honest Supplements. Taking care of your health shouldn't mean overpaying for supplements. That's why Honest Supplements is changing the game by offering high-quality, lab-tested supplements at prices that actually make sense.
While most supplement brands keep raising prices, Honest Supplements keeps it simple with just a 50% markup, helping customers save an average of 40% per product.
So, guys, whether you're looking for daily vitamins, sports nutrition, wellness support, or weight management products, they've got you covered with trusted ingredients and transparent pricing.
If you're tired of paying premium prices for the same supplements, head over to honestsupplements.com and see how much you can save.
Guys, this show is also brought to you by Elevation Strength and Conditioning, which is a one-on-one online coaching platform designed for combat athletes by combat athletes.
In a world where informational overload is common, cookie-cutter programs seem to be the norm. It is impossible to know what you should be doing.
So it doesn't matter your experience level, guys, weekend warrior, amateur fighter, or maybe you're even seeking to be in the UFC. Elevation Strength and Conditioning is here and is designed to train you to the best of your ability to perform at your highest level while preventing injuries.
If you want to take your game to the next level, Elevation Strength and Conditioning is here to help.
So guys, visit the Elevation Strength and Conditioning website and mention that We'll Take It From Here sent you so they can hook you up with the free strategy goal to make your goals a reality. And welcome back, folks. So we'll take it from here with Joe and Timmy, episode 235. Let's get right to it. We have a very special guest today, guys. I'm going to really enjoy this conversation. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this conversation. You're going to get a unique perspective from an individual with a very high skill set, and I'm really pumped to see the mindset of someone, of this particular individual. Let's introduce him. I'm going to go through the accolades, and you're going to see what I mean. Welcome to the show, Colton Brown.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
No, we really appreciate it too. Yeah. So I'm going to go through this right here. First and foremost, father and husband.
Yes.
You are a 5th degree black belt in judo.
Yes.
Doing it since you're 7.
Yes.
You went to San Jose State University.
Yep.
3-year national champion.
Yep.
Captain all the years.
Yep.
You are a 2-time Grand Prix medalist, 12-time World Cup medalist, 4-time Pan Am champion medalist. You're a 19-time international competition medalist. And then this is the best one. 2-time Olympian for the United States of America.
Damn.
One in 2016 in Brazil and the other in 2021 in Japan, where you got 9th place.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did your research.
Yes, I did my research.
I like that. Yeah.
And you are the owner and founder of Colton Brown Training Center, which is a training center for judo, MMA, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Warren, New Jersey.
Yep, that's right.
Awesome.
That's it.
Let's
awesome.
go.
It's a big roster right there.
Yeah, we don't even have to have a conversation now. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. That's it. That's the show, guys. Like, subscribe. No, but that's truly incredible, right? And especially the Olympian aspect of it is probably going to be the most interesting, because to go into the mindset of someone who has achieved Olympic status is probably or not probably, definitely is something that is beyond what the normal hobbyist would do, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So let's get back into it. 7 years old, judo.
I had no choice.
Really?
Yeah, no, my dad did judo. He was a black belt. My uncle was a black belt. My grandpa did judo in the military. He was in the Marines, and he did judo. That's how he got started.
Wow. They did judo that far back in the Marines?
That far, yeah, in the Marines. They
I didn't
did
know
it.
that.
Yeah, so as like a form of self-defense. So I don't think it was as much like sport-oriented as it is now, but they did it more for self-defense.
That's
so
amazing.
He started, and then he was like, he required my dad and uncle to do judo. He was like,
voluntold, right?
that's it. Like, he was like, they didn't have a choice. They're like, you're gonna do judo, you're gonna wrestle, and this is how this is gonna be. So I didn't have a choice either. So when I used to go to practice and watch my dad when I was like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. But I wasn't old enough to get on the mat. I don't think they started until 7 years old. And like the day I turned 7, I had to get on the mat and do judo. Right of passage. Yeah.
Get to work.
I love that.
Exactly.
Now, most of our viewers and audience are going to know what judo is, but for those that don't, can you just give like a brief summary of what judo is?
Yeah. So judo is just it's very similar to wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The point is to take your opponent down, and then you can win by, you can either throw your opponent. If you throw them flat on their back, it's equivalent to a knockout in boxing, or choke, armbar, or pin. If you pin your opponent for 20 seconds, you win. If you choke, you win. If you armbar, you win.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, so it's that
20 seconds. Why is it so long?
So not the both. It's not like wrestling. Like both shoulder blades don't have to be down.
Okay.
It's just like either side control, mount, north south. Any of that is a pin, right? And anything like where you're out of guard is a pin. So if you can hold somebody there for 20 seconds, you win the match.
wow.
Yeah.
20 seconds is pretty long.
It's still long. It feels like an eternity.
Yeah, right.
Quit moving.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes sense about why a lot of judo practitioners are also good at jiu-jitsu, because you have those submission aspects.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very similar.
Oh man, damn.
Yeah.
So you are required at 7 rite of passage to get on there. Did you fall in love with it, or how did that go out?
I hated it. I hated it, man. It was like I cried every day. So from like age 7 till 12, no, probably like 11. From age 7 to 11, I hated judo. I cried every day. I told my dad I want to quit. Like I don't want no part of this thing. And he just never let me quit. Like I would be like crying. He'd be like, stop crying. You're embarrassing me. He was like one of the assistant instructors on the mat. He'd be like, stop crying right now. Get in there and fight. Cause it wasn't fun. Like it was one of these things, the place where I was going, Cranford Judo. So they're around, and a lot of great champions came from there. It was like you bow on the mat. You do your warm up, and then you just fight, and that was like there's no games.
Wow.
Like it was nothing like that. So it's like I run my kids class like completely different, and even the kids now, they're like, oh my God, this is so hard. And I was like, you have no idea what hard is. So and we fought, and it was just like I didn't want to do that at that age, and so it was tough. I mean, I wasn't naturally gifted, so I was like a heavier set kid. So nothing came easy to me. So I wasn't naturally athletic. So I was getting beat up, man. Like wrestlers would come in and people like that, and I would get beat up a lot. So it wasn't fun.
Yeah, that definitely, especially for a kid to have constantly getting beat up, is probably just like demoralizing. But at the same time, it probably made you a lot better.
Oh my gosh. And I didn't realize that. Like as a kid, you don't realize that, right? Until you get older. And then when I got older, I was like, oh man, thank God I had to go through this, because it's almost a better thing that I started out losing. So because I got used to losing. And so when I lost, when I started to care about competition, I started to compete, I had already lost for 4 or 5 years. So straight. And so it didn't matter to me. Like losing wasn't a big thing anymore. So if I would have had success, immediate success when I came in the sport, dealing with losses down the line would have been a lot more difficult.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Do you think that I'll call it uphill battle with the losing, trying to learn how to win?
Yeah.
Do you think that, and like you're saying, you weren't as gifted as the other, do you think that kind of made it not easier, but like since you had to work towards it, you had to you learn the grind as you got. With the gifted people, they kind of it's too easy for them. Where when it gets hard, it's like, why is this hard?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it was definitely a grind in the beginning. But like I said, I think the biggest thing that the losing did was it made me okay with it, and it was like. Look, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you get thrown. Worst that can happen is you get pinned or whatever. Or you lose this match. I was so used to losing that it no longer fazed me. So it was it definitely made it easier in the long run. Yeah.
Love that. And at what point during this whole journey did it start to I guess, was it the grind that allowed you to be like, oh, I actually sort of like this, or I got something in this, or did that, what happened there?
So when I turned 12, I had an opportunity, I think because my uncle lived in Florida, I had an opportunity to go to this tournament in Florida. And I remember having to tell my teachers and my friends at school, I was getting on a plane to go compete in judo. And nobody had been on a plane before. And it was the coolest thing in the world. And I was so excited. And this tournament is the U.S. Open. And it was one of the bigger tournaments, one of the premier tournaments in the U.S. And I actually went down there, and somehow, some way, I won the tournament. So I took gold. So I went from not winning anything to winning this huge tournament.
Yeah.
And I went 5-0, and it was a great thing. And I was like, oh my God. I fell in love with getting on a plane to go somewhere to compete and then getting a medal. I got this beautiful medal, and I was like, oh, this is fucking great. So I fell in love with that. And that kind of got me motivated. And my dad was like, see, if you want more of this, you have to actually work hard. And I was like, all right, yeah, I don't mind going to practice now. It was really weird how that happened, but yeah, just something kind of clicked.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, though. It's like you weren't winning anything, and you win a huge tournament.
Weird.
5-0.
I have no idea how that happened.
What was the psychology mindset behind your first tournament at 12 years old? You're in a place, you're in a new state, right?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind before your first match?
I think have fun, right? And they still have that on video. Like they have like me warming up on video and me competing on video at that age. And it was like, I looked like I was just having fun. Like they were like doing a fake interview of me on like a VHS thing, like a massive camcorder. And
Shoulder mounted one.
Yeah, it was like one of those. And I was having a lot of fun. Like I was laughing minutes before I was fighting. And, looking back on that now and everything that I did in the sport and, went out and compete in the Olympics and all that stuff, the times where I had the most fun was when I had the most success. And that was the first time I had a lot of fun competing.
We've been talking about that for the last couple of months. It's like, let's
huge.
go back to having fun with training.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like you're saying, that was the best you were doing. It put you in a different mindset. I guess you have less nerves. Like you're not worried about making mistakes or whatever. It's like, that happens. Cool. Let's have some fun with it. Okay. Yeah.
It's a game. At the end of the day, this is a
exactly.
game. And I think that we forget and we get caught up sometimes because it's like it's a really hard game and we're fighting and somebody's literally trying to submit you or throw you or do something to you. And you're trying to do the same to another human being, which is really, really difficult. But at the end of the day, like we got started in this because it was a game. Nobody got started because we wanted to win titles or do that. It was like, oh, this is a fun thing that we can do. We can wrestle in like whatever looks like pajamas. So let's do that. Right? That's it. Yeah.
When you were growing up and watching your father, your uncle, and your grandpa, right? Would you watch them do their training?
Oh yeah.
What was it like to see your family in like just going against each other and that hard work?
Pride. That's like a huge sense of pride. So like I would watch my dad, and when I would watch him, and I think it was prideful for him too, because I would watch him throw these guys in practice. And when I was watching, for whatever reason, that's like my hero. So he did really well. Right. And he was like, I'm not fucking losing in front of my son. That's like losing in front of your girlfriend. Like, you can't bring your girl to practice and then get your ass kicked.
No.
So it was like one of those things. So my dad, man, he was a beast. Like whenever I watched him, when he was like really, really, really technical, but he worked his ass off. And that's like the first lesson that he taught me. He always told me, and from when I was 12. So after I came back from the US Open, we had this conversation. He was like, I need you to do me a favor. He's like, you have to make me one promise. And I was like, well, what's up? He said, you never ever can go into a competition out of shape, because that's the one thing that you can control. He was like, you have to work your ass off to at least be in shape. You never want to lose because you're in bad condition or because you got tired. So that's the one thing he taught me. And that's the one thing, he was always in shape, always. So yeah, for me, he's a badass.
Nice. Yeah. That's a perfect. Yeah. Honestly, especially in fighting, not having fitness, that would suck.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like,
no,
can you imagine that?
Nothing's worse than when another man is dominating you and you're out of breath.
Right. Yeah, that's not cool.
Dude.
That's not good.
Yeah, you come back from taking a week or two off, and you're like winded, and they're like spinning around on you, like can't piece dancing on you, like fuck, I can't catch my breath. And you have to,
and then you know what's worse too? You're going to get water afterward, and someone's like, "Hey, you want to go?" And you're like, "Fuck, yeah." And you're like,
yeah, my breath. How am I going to get through this? That shit sucks, bro.
So when you were done with the U.S. Open, you won it, and now you're starting to get into it. You're enjoying judo. From there, did it just basically exponentially just, I guess, escalate or?
Yeah, but it was work. Like I fell in love then with the grind. So that's when I started, like my dad would make me get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And we would go in my backyard. I had like a patio in my backyard, and we would work out every single day at 6 o'clock in the morning. We would do judo, and we would work out in rain, snow, sleet, whatever. We were working out. And I did that every day. And then I would go to practice at night. And then some nights I would come home from practice not happy with how I did, and I would work out at night, 10 o'clock at night on the patio as well.
Wow. The extra reps started early.
It started. I was like, I can't, like, again, like I wanted to get these medals and these trophies, and I wanted to, I knew that my parents wouldn't invest money unless they saw me working. So I had to make sure that they saw, like, okay, he's working, because I knew I wanted to travel, and I wanted to go to Montreal, and then I wanted to go to Albany to compete. And I was like obsessed with like going to these places where we had to stay in hotels, and I could tell all my friends at school that I was going here to compete, and I was doing something that nobody else was doing at the time. So that's how I started. And yeah, man, I fell in love with work. And I was like, the harder I work, I think the more, more trophies I'll get, the more places that I'll get to travel. And yeah, and then it just kind of became an addiction.
Yeah, love it.
A healthy addiction.
Yeah, healthy addiction. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, then this allowed you to have a very cool experience when you graduated high school. You went to I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, Nihon University.
Yeah, Nihon University.
In Japan.
Yeah, so 17. So what happened is I really got good around 16. So when I was 16, I started like going to big national competitions for seniors. I was still a kid, but I was competing in seniors. I got my black belt when I turned 16, and I had to fight. In judo, you have to win 5 matches in a row to get your black belt. So I had to win, and you have to stay out. So you have to stay out. It's a tournament. They line you up by height, not weight. They line you up by height, and then you're like, all right, you got to stay out, and you got to fight. And if you don't win by full point, it doesn't count. So I think I won 4, but one of them wasn't by full point. I had to win another one. And so they send fresh guys at you. So it's a tournament setting. They send fresh guys, and you just got to stay out there and win. And I was going against men. I was 16 as a kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But what is maybe this is a silly question, but what is the thought process about not going by weight, but height in judo?
I don't know. That's weird. It was the only tournament that they ever did that. And I think it's because that's what they used to do back in the day in Japan. Mm-hmm. So they were like, oh, no, nothing matters. It's you just got to go out there and fight. You got to earn this because it's your belt. And I've never, ever seen another tournament do that. So right. It was really weird, but it's cool. Looking back on that, I was fighting fucking grown men, and big ass dudes, and you earn it. There's a sense of pride behind that because I was like, well, somebody gave you your black belt. I had to fucking stand and fight for mine. I earned it at that age, so I felt really good about that.
Were the people going against all going for their black belt too?
They're all going for their black belt. So it's all these people going for black belt. Yeah, everybody's going hard because everything's on the line. Yeah.
Is it possible that people that day didn't get their black belt that have to retry?
Most people didn't get their black belt. Yeah.
Wow.
So most people don't get promoted, right? So I went, every single person that I went, you can only lose twice. And every single person that I went against, they already had a loss. So they lost. Some of them came back, some of them lost again. If you don't win that 4 in a row, you don't get it. If you win 2 and then you lose, then you got to go again. You got to win 4.
And that's where that never be out of shape from that coming from your dad. My God.
And I was ready. I think that day, I could have gone 8, 9 matches.
Holy
probably.
Shit.
Yeah, I was ready. I was never going to be out of shape.
That's a lot too. 8, 9 matches.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But 8, 9 jiu-jitsu matches a lot.
Exactly. Sorry.
But I could imagine now judo where you're tossing someone.
Yeah,
Jesus.
But we're used to it. I was going in training. I was probably training for an hour and a half straight.
Okay.
So where we used to train, there was never any timed rounds. They'd be like, all right, they put 60 minutes on the clock or 90 minutes on the clock. And they'd be like, okay, you can go a couple minutes, rest a couple minutes, go with another partner, go as long as you want. And I would pride myself from a young age on just staying out there longer than anybody else. So there was guys training for national competitions. And I would just be like, I'll be better than them if I can train a longer period of time. So I worked my way up to just staying out for the whole 90 minutes and never sitting down.
Wow.
Yeah. That was, so I was used to that. So then when I competed at that level, it was easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So at 16, you get your black belt.
Yeah.
And now you graduate and you say, I want to go to the best judo school in the world.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a choice with that either. So what happened is I graduated. There was my theme. I just didn't have a choice. How this happened, I went to the senior nationals when I was 17 in San Diego. And it was the senior nationals at that time in 2009 was it was the biggest event in the country in judo. Mm-hmm. And I ended up taking a bronze medal, which is unheard of in a crazy division. Travis Stevens won gold. Another Olympian was on the podium in silver, another Olympian, and then 17-year-old me. So gold, silver, bronze. There were 2 bronzes. I was the other bronze. I think I won 5 matches that day. I went 5-1. And it was I beat some really good guys that were on the scene and had made it to Olympic trials and had medaled at the nationals before. So that's how I got recruited to San Jose State. So the guys from San Jose came up to me and they were like, hey, San Jose State and the Olympic Training Center at the time in Colorado Springs, they came up and they were like, hey, we want you to come to school with us and train for the next Olympics at our place. And I was like, okay, cool. But this is in May or April or May. I didn't know what I was going to do for school yet. And it had passed the deadline for applying to college. So I was in this weird place where I didn't know what I was going to do. And so I asked my sensei at the time, UNESCO, he's a legend in the sport. And I asked him, I was like, hey, what should I do? Like, I have this weird time. Like, I can't start school until the next semester because I missed the deadline. He was like, you just need to go to Japan for 6 months. And I was like, go to Japan? Like, what am I going to do there? And he's like, I was like, who am I going to go? He's go by yourself, man. That's how you're going to get better. And he was like, actually, and then like he talked to my dad. And then the next day my flight was booked. And it was a one-way ticket. There was no return flight. So it was crazy. Yeah.
That's wild. Your dad's like, yep, he's doing that. Yeah. He doesn't have a choice.
He had a conversation with me and he goes, I want you to understand something. You're going to go to Japan. It's probably going to be the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life. This is a one-way ticket. Stay as long. He's like, I recommend that you stay for like 4 months, 5 months. But he was like, you know what? And I know it's really difficult. It's going to be culture shock and it's going to probably be the hardest thing you've ever done. So if at any point you want to come home, just call me. And he was like, I'll get you a return ticket.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be a bitch. Like, I was like, I had to see it through, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess. Like, I didn't even know I was planning on going to California and just kind of chilling for 5-6 months and then starting school. And that wasn't the case, man. So it was tough. Yeah.
Damn. What was that like, though? That trip? Yeah. Like, you're 17 at the time?
17 at the time. I don't speak the language. I got there, so I landed in Tokyo, and I stayed at this dorm. And it was this dorm, and it was bunk beds, and there was 8 Japanese guys in a room, and me. And it was like 5 rooms of these, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I thought I was going to have my own room. I thought it was going to be like a hotel. No, shared showers, shared bathroom, shared everything. I didn't speak the language. So I walk in, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And they gave me a bunk. It was like a pillow with like rice in it. It was like a pillow with rice. It was a hard bed. And it was like you're in prison kind of.
God.
Yeah, it was rough. And I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So the next morning, this is a Sunday. The next morning at like 4:30, somebody comes in the room screaming and everyone just gets up. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's 4:30 in the morning. They're like, yeah, it's time to run. Like, they just went like this. I didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got my running sneakers on. We ran for like 2 hours. And I was like, okay, I guess we're not training again until nighttime. And then we ate breakfast. And after that, there was another training. And they did like 15 5-minute rounds in that training. The morning training. Yeah, 15. And I got my ass kicked. Like, bad. And then I was like, all right, I guess that's it for the day. Maybe they don't train at night here. Went to sleep, woke up, another training at night. And they did 20 rounds. It was great. We did like 35 rounds in a day.
35 rounds.
35 rounds a day.
First day that happens, right? What's going through your mind after all that?
Where's my phone to call my dad? Like, that's what I'm thinking. But I had I remember I was keeping a journal and then I was writing. I used to email my dad and I emailed him and I said, I have no skin. The skin on my knuckles were gone and the skin on the back of my neck was gone from the gi rubbing and then from ripping and gripping and things like that. I said, I have no skin here, and I have no skin. My skin is raw on the back of my neck. And I was like, this is day one. And I remember he texted back, and he emailed me back, and he was like, dig deep, kid. That was it. And I was just like, all right, bro, I'm in this. So, yeah, it was tough. I didn't know how I was going to get through it. I think the hardest part was, because I didn't speak the language, I didn't know when the practice was going to end. I didn't know what was going on in that practice. I just knew, like, all right, it's time to fight. And the way that those Japanese guys are, they're not nice because I was a foreigner. And they don't usually, most of those guys, Japan is so deep with talent that they don't usually get to go out and like out of the country and compete for their national team because they're not good enough. And so those dudes are super hungry. So when they can get their hands on somebody like me, it's like they're trying to prove to everybody, like, you get to go and travel, I'm going to kick your ass. And I was a kid. So, dude, I got like, this is one of the stories there. I was at training and a guy choked me out. I tapped. He didn't let up. Put me to sleep. Woke me back up. Choked me again. He did it 7 times. 7 times. My first instinct when I got up was like, I want to punch this guy in the fucking face.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I looked. There was a sea of Japanese people. And I was like, yeah, but if I do that, like, this is not going to end well for me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do anything. But then eventually I got that back down the line when I went back to Japan. But that's how it was. And it was just a grind. And for the first month, they didn't respect me. And they would beat the shit out of me. And then once they realized, like, oh shit, this kid's not going anywhere, I think they were like, okay.
Yeah.
And they kind of took me in. And now, like, one of my roommates. I was with him last weekend at the Nationals. He's one of the coaches, and we took silver at the Olympics in 2016. And he was one of my roommates there, and we have a great relationship now.
That's
so
awesome.
These are now friends for life.
Yeah.
But before, oh my God, that guy never talked to me.
Yeah.
And now he's like, we had beer together, like it's all good.
Dude, that's insane. Okay, so that I can see what you're saying. You're the foreigner in their country. Like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
We're gonna show you. But to choke someone out like
Seven
that,
times.
and 7 times.
Yeah.
And now with that, have you ever like spoken to that guy since? You said
I
you said
beat the shit out
you
of him.
bet you. Yeah,
like when I got back.
let's
So
go.
that was like I was 17 at the time. And I went back and I was like, man, if I ever go back here, like, and I used to go back every summer. And I saw him, I think when I was like 20, 21, and we got into it, but this time on our feet. And we got into it, and I was like, this is the guy that fucking did that to me. And he like tried to push me against a wall. Like, so what they do is they don't stop when they get like out of bounds or when they get to a wall. They'll just try to like jam you. And then when you like let go of the gi, they'll try to throw you.
Sure.
That's what they do. And I knew I'd been there long enough and I'd been there enough times to know that he was going to do this. And I turn around, I started hitting him in the face, right? Like against the wall, hitting him in the face, hitting him in the face, hitting him in the face, hitting him in the face. And when he pushed back, I slammed him and I just like pinned him for the entire round and just wouldn't let up. And I was just like, I was driving my shoulder into his jaw, like things like that. And
Shoulder justice.
yeah.
Fuck
And then he got up upset, but he shook my hand and then it was like respect. And then afterwards we were out like having beers with the team or whatever. And he bought me a beer.
Oh, all right,
and I was like, all right, I guess we're cool now.
yeah.
So we went from that to that. So yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, you're good. You got your revenge. So after that, you make friends with everyone. I could only imagine. Not to say that the training afterward when you came back to the States was necessarily easy, but it couldn't have been harder than
easy.
it was.
Yeah.
All right.
That first trip, I don't think I would have had as much success. I don't think I would have had any of the success I had without that trip. That got me so comfortable being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. Like, I mean, even in business now today, like just going through difficult situations and outworking the person next to you. I mean, I was thrown in fire and there was almost, in my opinion, and the way I saw it when I was that young, I was like, damn, there's no way out of this. I got to go through. Like, I can't go around this. Like, this is something I have to go through. Mm-hmm. And I learned to go through difficult shit at that time in my life. And that's carried me all the way up until today.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
So it was easy. Yeah, to answer your question, training when I got back, like I went back to San Jose and we were doing like 10 rounds, like 10 5-minute rounds. I was like, this is it. It's a walk in the park.
Walk in the park. Yeah.
This is warm up.
Yeah, that's it. So
This is the morning not even the morning session.
That's not even the morning session.
That had to, I mean, because if you're captaining for your whole time at the college, right?
Yeah.
So from sophomore, right?
Sophomore year, yeah.
So you're a sophomore captain. That had to have been from the discipline that you had in Japan. Like
Absolutely.
they were like, oh, this kid's got to be the fucking.
Yeah, and that was tough too because San Jose was a powerhouse back then. Like they were a huge program. Judo's massive out there. And the captain before me is an Olympic medalist, right? So they're like, who the fuck is Marty Malloy? And they're like, who is this kid that's going to be our captain? There was people a lot older than me on that team. And they're like, who is this kid going to be a captain? So I had to lead by example. And the way that I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to outwork everybody and I'm going to show my work ethic and I'm going to let that speak for itself. And then they'll fall in line, right? And they have to at least respect that. You might not like me, but you'll respect that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was my biggest thing.
Okay. So you basically you walked the walk. You commanded the respect. Well, you earned the respect of everyone else, and you basically just did yours.
Yeah, it took a while, but and I had to change a culture. So there was a group coming up when I was a sophomore. The freshman group that was coming in was like they liked to party. They were a little bit softer. They didn't like to work hard. And I remember I had everybody start doing morning sprints. So I would have we're going to run in the morning and we're going to work out after practice and we're going to do this. And I was like, this is what I'm doing. This is what you guys are going to do. And that's it. And this is what we're going to do as a team. And this is the direction that we're going to go in. And I don't care. And if you don't succeed, you don't succeed. Mm-hmm. And it changed everything. And then once they saw that and they were like, oh, this guy has like the best interest for all of us. Then I got the athletes. The coaching staff was always on board with me, but the athletes after that were like, okay, we'll follow his lead. Nice. And that's when it became cool.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
When did you find out you were going to be captaining?
Right
how
in the beginning of my sophomore year. So the captain was graduating, Marty Malloy. Mm-hmm. She had just graduated, and I was like, oh man, I wonder who they're going to make captain. And the coaches brought me to the side one day and were like, hey, we're thinking about making you captain. What do you think about that? And I was like, I'm young. This has never really happened before. Usually captain's a senior, maybe a junior, but not like sophomore. And I was like, oh, it's never happened before. How are we going to do that? And they were like, no, we think you're ready for it. And do you think you can lead? And I was like, let me think about it. I thought about it, and then I had the conversation in my head that I just had with you guys, and I was like, if I lead by example, I can do it. And then I came back to him and I said, yeah, it's something I would be willing to do.
Was this like you said sophomore? Was that your first? My phone going off? My bad. I thought I muted it. I guess not.
There we go.
Was this like immediately when you first sophomore year, your first time there because you were delayed at 6 months?
So I was delayed. So what happened is I came back and I did my freshman year. So I came back. And I did, I started school. And then the following year, I got named captain. So I was there for a year.
So you basically, it's like a red shirt almost. Like
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
And then I started,
Perfect. So, if I'm not mistaken, too, when I was reading in the bio, the coaches at San Jose State, isn't he like a legend or something?
Legend, yeah.
Are all these legends, are they all coming from Japan, or are they mostly American?
No, most of them are from Japan. So he was straight from Japan, Yoshida. He just died. He's like 105 years old. When
Holy wow.
God. Yeah,
God
dude, it was
bless.
crazy.
Rest in peace. But Jesus, 105
and a legend in the judo world.
A legend,
so he's been
man. He was
up.
like he was in an internment camp, man. Like,
Oh no shit.
Oh yeah. No, he was no joke. Like he was when I got to the team, we were celebrating his 90th birthday when I was a freshman. And I was like, hey, it was crazy. And this guy he would come to practice every day. Like he was at practice every day. He would scream at us. Like I have crazy stories, like this girl, one of the girls on the team had gotten pinned at the Nationals that year. And he came to practice with like this bag in his hand. And I was like, oh God, he's going to scream at us. Because he was like super big on like never losing on the ground. And he was like, so he comes to practice, he has his bag in his hand, he throws the bag on the mat, and he's like, open the bag, and it's like a bunch of fucking shrimp. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with these shrimp? And he was like, you guys don't know how to shrimp, so we're going to spend an entire practice shrimping.
That's actually funny.
Like, it was crazy.
Like a bag of shrimp.
There's a bag of shrimp. And he's like, you know why I have this? Because none of you guys know how to do this shit. And this is the type of shit that he would do. And it was like, dude. And he lectured us for 30 minutes, and then we spent like an hour doing shrimps. Just down the mat, shrimping.
Oh my God. That's...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then we had to do we did groundwork, or we did Newaza for like a month and a half after that. Like just nothing on our feet, just straight groundwork. Yeah.
And no one probably ever lost on the ground after that.
I wish I would have known that before I got choked out 7 times. That's,
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
that's
shit.
it.
Fuck. Oh man. So after college, right? Is that when you really started making your push to let me rephrase the question. When did you really start making your push toward the Olympics?
San Jose. When I was in college. Yeah. Okay. So when I was there, what I would do is I would go to school. I was studying for business. I was getting my business degree. And then during the summers, I would train in Japan. So as soon as the semester would end, the semester ended May 21st, May 22nd, I'm on a plane to Japan. I was training in Japan the whole summer. But I was competing. I was competing at a high level when I was in college. And I slowly worked my way to become the best in the country. 2013. 13. 13, I medaled in my first Grand Prix in Miami. My first Grand Prix I ever competed in. And I was still in school. I graduated in 2015. So I was training and competing internationally. So at that time, they had just changed the rules. And in order to make the Olympic team in judo, you had to be top 22 in the world. So in each weight. You had to be top 22 in the world. So there's 1,000 people in each weight trying to make the Olympic team throughout the world. Judo's massive. Jeez. So there's like at least 1,000 each weight trying to make this team. And I was, I had to get to number 22. So I had to travel. And the way that you do it, it's like the tennis system. So they have like different Grand Prix and Grand Slams and World Championships in different countries every other weekend. So you have to travel the world, and you get, based on how you do at these events, you get points, and you accumulate these points. And then once the cutoff is 2016, top 22 in the world go.
Really?
Yeah. So I was in school. So I was studying and actually doing college and getting my degree and traveling. So I'd be like, all right, hey, professor, I can't do this test on Tuesday because I'm going to be in China. So can I take it Friday, like before I go? And so I would have to do like double the work.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. So it was wild. It was a grind. But that Japan trip, there was nothing harder than that. So like that shit to me was just something that had to be done. And but yeah, to answer
I
your
like
question,
that.
yeah,
Something that just had to be done.
Yeah,
That's it.
You can either complain about it or just fucking do it.
got to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You can complain about it.
Someone is going to do it, right? So why not you? Like someone else. Like if you don't do it, someone else will. So just be the person to do it.
I fucking like that. Honestly, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else is gonna do it if you don't fucking do it.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're going. So we'll get back to 2016. 'Cause I definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But you're going all around all these countries, right?
Yeah.
In your opinion, who had probably Japan, but outside of Japan, who had like the most impressive judo? Was it like Georgia or?
Oh God, man, yeah, Georgia is crazy. Basically every country other than the U.S. judo is massive, like massive. So you go there, and like even now when I travel internationally, I'll go through customs in the airport, and people will know who I am, like the customs agent.
Oh no shit!
And yeah, it's wild, man. So it's like judo it's huge, and you go to these events in Georgia and Russia and Brazil and all these places, and there's France, 3,000 people in the stands, 5,000 people in the stands. What stadiums are packed out? Like the Paris Grand Slam is the same arena where Justin Bieber performs.
Oh shit!
Right? And they sell out for judo, and it's like insane. There's people like selling tickets on the street, like trying to get tickets on the street, and they're selling for double the price. So this is the type of stuff that's going on throughout the world. So I guess to answer your question, yeah, France is crazy. Russia, Brazil is insane. Georgia is crazy. Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, all the stands.
All the stands.
All the stands are wild. Anywhere other than the U.S.
Yeah, the U.S. I think the issue with sports in the U.S. is there's too many exactly. Commercialized sports. So you're basically competing with that, right? Yeah. It's the fighting versus soccer versus basketball, football, whatever.
And you're competing with the professional aspect of those sports.
Right.
Those make millions of dollars in judo, high level judo. Like, is there really much of a purse?
Now, not in the U.S. In other countries, yes. So other countries, it's government funded.
No
right?
shit.
Oh yeah, they make the Russians and the French. They make tons of money. I think I looked at the budget last week. The French budget is I think it's $13 million a year that they put towards their Olympic athletes in judo.
I wonder.
That's just judo.
Just judo.
It's
government funded.
I wonder too, because you said when your grandfather was in the Marines, they would do judo, military.
Yeah.
Military.
Yeah.
I wonder if those countries, especially like the stand countries, if they fund it because they use it in the military.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Germany does it too with the police. So a lot of the Israel does it with the military. A lot of it is based on military, and these guys they're professionals, so they're getting paid to do judo, and they have full funded teams. Like they have physios and sports psychologists and all kinds of stuff. They have a full staff. And their incentive to win is crazy. Like in Russia, if you win, it's a few $100,000 you get. Each year. So each year, I think you're paid that for 10 years, and you get a house and you get a car paid off and all kinds of stuff.
No shit.
Well, yeah, well, Putin does judo too. So
he's a black belt in judo.
Yeah, holy fuck. And I think those countries even Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, if you look at the type of people that they are, they thrive on combat. Like that, they're like combat people. Like they have pride in fighting, and like Georgians and things like that. For people like that, for example, like if you're in Georgia and you're a good fighter, that means way more than being a good basketball player.
Oh for sure.
So they take a lot of pride in that. So I think where we grow up playing basketball and soccer and baseball, those kids grow up fighting.
Yeah.
And they fight, if you look at these Instagram videos now, they're on the grass fighting, and there's thousands of people around them, and it's just what they do.
Yeah, no, that must be.
You don't need to pay for a ball or a soccer
goal
or
just go out and fight, man.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, going back to 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. You're traveling, you're accumulating points.
Yeah.
Top 22, you see your name.
That was a crazy story. So, the last tournament leading into the Olympics, so there's one more tournament, and then the Olympic qualification was going to end, right? It was May of 2016. Maybe April or May of 2016. Pan Am Championships are in Cuba. I'm sitting outside of the qualification. I'm number 25. In order for, maybe number 26. In order for me, this is the last competition. In order for me to get into Olympic qualification and qualify for the Olympics, I have to make the final of the Pan Am Championships. I had never medaled at the Pan Ams before this. I always fought for a medal, but I lost. But I had to make the final. So not bronze doesn't do it. Gold or silver, and then I make the Olympic team. If I don't get into the finals, I don't make the Olympic team. So all those years
pressure.
are for nothing. So then the draw comes out. And if that wasn't enough, who I had to beat in the semifinal to get to the final, I was 0-4 against him.
Oh.
So it's the Cuban, right? I was 0-4 against this guy. And we're fighting in Cuba. And
Hold on. This is 2016?
2016.
Were we allowed to travel in Cuba then?
I believe so.
Okay, I
Yeah,
remember there
yeah.
was a short. Okay.
Yeah, athletes. I've been going to Cuba since 2011, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure how that all worked. Sorry,
So-
not the side.
no, but you make. Oh, sorry. You've never medaled in the Pan Am.
Nope.
You make the final. You have to make the final.
Yep.
You have to get silver or gold. You're in Cuba
Yep.
against a Cuban you lost to 4 times.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, but I had, going into that camp, like, I had trained probably for a good 12 weeks. And I had just visualized winning that tournament. And every day in training, I was like, I'm going to go harder than everybody else. And I'm going to visualize winning this event. And I was training a lot with Travis Stevens at the time. Mm-hmm. So I trained with Travis, and we did like a 3-week camp before then. And he's a person that trains super hard, right? And he goes hard, and he set a great example. And it was tough, man. That camp was probably one of the hardest things that I had done in my life. And I remember and when I got there, because I had gone through it so many times in my head and gone through it so many times at training that when I got to the event, I was kind of like, I've been here before. So when I got there, it was, as weird as this sounds, it wasn't nerve-wracking. Mm-hmm. I knew I was going to beat that guy in that match. And we started fighting, no score in regulation. So it goes to overtime. And I think it went like 3 or 4 minutes in overtime, and I felt him starting to fade. And he was starting to get tired.
Ooh, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, I just felt it. And he was like, there was no way he was strong as in minute 1. And long story short, he kind of gave up. Yeah. So he laid down, and I ended up winning the match, and that was it, man. I made the Olympic team.
You fucking gave up.
Yeah.
That's a good. You outworked him.
That's it.
To basically, you submitted him his ego.
And I think that goes back to like 12-year-old me in the backyard with my dad, and him saying like, dude, you can never, ever, you have to outwork everybody, and you have to make sure that you never, ever get tired. Mm-hmm. And if you can do that, you'll be thanked for that in the future, right? And that was the moment where all of that paid off and everything came full circle.
Shit, that's awesome. That's epic. Yeah. So this just gets you to the Olympics.
Got me to the Olympics. So only in that year, 1, 2, 3 guys and 3 girls, maybe 6 of us were on the Olympic team. Okay. So there's 14 weights, and only 6 people from the U.S. qualified.
Wow.
Yeah, so six of the 14 weights qualified.
So when I was reading the bio, I was wondering, I assumed it meant Americans, right? Because it was like 1 of 6, and I think the 2021 was 1 of 4. I think, yeah.
I was the only male to qualify for the Olympics in 2021. Yeah.
The what's it called? I would assume the pool is much bigger.
Yeah.
90 kilograms is what you compete at.
Yeah.
So for Americans, and I had to look this up. So I had to look this up.
Go ahead, say it.
198 pounds.
198.2. There you go.
Yeah.
Don't forget the point too.
Yes.
So the judo is Olympics, or there's no like individual teams. It's you have to qualify. So that's what you're saying. The top 20. 22?
Top 22. And now it's the top 18.
Holy cow.
Yeah, they've reduced it.
But so they only have 18 people in each bracket for the Olympics or judo.
Well, no, then there's a bunch of wild cards.
Okay.
So then what they have is they give slots to. So if you don't directly qualify for your country, there's a wild card slot. And it's whoever in that country has the highest amount of points of all of the other weight classes. So like, let's say 4 people directly qualify from the U.S. Whoever the 5th person is that has more points than anyone else in the country in all weight classes, they get a wild card slot. Mm-hmm. If they have qualified that slot for the Olympics through like the Pan Ams. So if you take in the Pan Ams, maybe like top 5, you qualify. Your weight is qualified for that country. Mm-hmm. And then that's how it goes.
So each country would have like... Does every country get a wild card, or
not every country? It's just some. So you might get it. So it's a bracket of like 32.
Okay.
Right? There's another 10 people in each.
Does each country have the opportunity to get that, or?
Yeah, they do if you qualify it.
Yeah.
So if you have to qualify that weight, meaning let's just say my weight, like let's say I didn't directly qualify for the Olympics, but if I took 5th or better at the Pan Am Championships, I qualify my weight for the Olympics, that country. So that means like I get to go. I can get a wild card and go. But if I didn't take top 5, I don't get to go. Even if I qualify with the wild card, I still can't go.
Damn. Okay,
Wow.
so it's like
so you can get the wild card and still you have
Yeah,
a couple different thresholds.
It's a couple different directions. Yeah, yeah.
It's tough,
But still,
it's
those
good.
are small brackets.
Very tough. Yeah, it's 32. Yeah, so it's tough, man. And it's everybody's good. There's no like before. You just used to have to win the Olympic trials. So 2008 and before then, all you had to do in order to make the Olympic team is just be the best in the U.S. in each weight. Everybody got to go. So it was like, oh, you just be the best in the U.S. That was easy. Like relatively, I mean, relatively speaking, I mean, I was the best in the U.S. for 12, 13, 14 years, right? But being one of the top guys in the world and having to qualify that weight through international competition, it's a whole different animal. Yeah.
Fuck. So then it makes it more gratifying. And then it probably makes it more surreal when you're actually at the Olympics.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was crazy. That was a wild experience. You think about this.
So 2021, where was that?
Tokyo,
right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
But before, let's walk through 2016 because, and I'm going to make an assumption here, but I would assume 2016 taught you a lot for 2021.
Yeah. Huge. I mean, 2016, I was happy to be there, right? I was happy to make the team. Did I want to, my goal was to medal, but I was really, if you asked me 2 years before that, I would have been happy to just go, right? I didn't know I was going to go. I was not really competing internationally as much. I was a college kid. I was starting to get on the scene, but not really as much as I would have liked. Fast forward 2 years, here I am walking out to my first Olympics in Rio, and again, a packed stadium. And every single person was good. Every single person in that division I had looked up to. Like they had been an idol of mine. So that was tough, man. And, but it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. Yeah.
What was the country? What countries did you go against that one?
My first match was against, I think, Sudan, and I beat that guy in like 10 seconds. I had like the fastest win. It's on like,
Did you epone him?
I epone him in like 10 seconds.
Nice.
Maybe 9 seconds, 10 seconds, but I had a good draw. So I had him. He was a wild card. He got in through a wild card position, and I pwned him in like 10 seconds.
Nice. So basically, you did the equivalent of the boxing knockout, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
I threw him really quick, and that ended up being on TV like for a while. Like if you had Comcast back then, you could go replay like fastest epone of the Judo Olympics, and that was there.
Nice.
It was me. So, and then the second match, I had France, and it was a guy that I fought in 2009, my first ever international tournament. I fought in the Junior World Championships when I was 17. When I was 17, and this guy beat me, and he beat me in like probably like 40 seconds, and then I had to fight him second round of the Olympics, and he was good. He was one of the guys that was favored to medal, and we went the distance, and he beat me by a small point, but we went the distance, and that's how I got knocked out there. But it's okay, right? It was a long match. It was a good match. I saw how much I improved in those years, and that experience taught me that hey, I belong here, and I'm gonna fucking go get a medal in 2021.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I left there.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Oh man. And so at that point, when you got eliminated, do you get to stay there and watch the rest of the tournament, or is it,
stay for the whole Olympics? So
whole
I stayed
Olympic,
there for 2 weeks after that. So judo competed first, and then you get to stay for 2 weeks, and you get to watch other sports. And we went to wrestling and saw Jordan Burroughs and all that stuff. So we went to swimming and all these different events, and you get to just enjoy the village.
Are you at like is there special seating for the athletes to sit in, or are you at the stands with everyone else?
No, we were at the stands with everybody else, which was an even better experience. Yeah. So it was really, really, really cool. I'd never been to a games before. I'd never been to like Pan Am Games or anything like that. So the Olympics was an insane experience for me. And it was, it just got me really excited about going out there and making a name for myself for the next 4 years.
Yeah, for sure. And then definitely to represent the country is probably like the most honorable thing.
Oh,
and
God,
fuck
yeah.
yeah. And when you're not concentrating, or I guess maybe you have a match or something, when you don't need to be prepared, are you guys hanging out with all the other countries, or is it?
Yeah. So after that, it turned into like I just partied for 2 weeks.
Let's go.
And
I was like, you're in Rio. So I partied for 2 weeks. I was
Love that.
I had just trained super hard. I went through this crazy camp. I competed I did something for 4 years, and I finally accomplished this goal. And now you're done. So now it was weird because it's almost like you get this like you get depressed for a little bit because it's like, now what? Like you just did all this and you just reached the pinnacle, And now, what do we start all over again? Now it's like, all right, this is done. Now what am I doing with my life? Mm-hmm. And you get that feeling a little bit. And so I just partied for 2 weeks. And I remember that. Like, I enjoyed the village. I enjoyed all the other sports. I took everything in. And then I was like, and during that time, I was thinking about, do I have what it takes mentally to go another 4 years? And can I push myself through it? And is this something that I really want to do? Because you're starting from scratch. Everything zeroes out. And now, can you do it again? And can you do it better? Mm-hmm. Can you do more? So, yeah.
Awesome. So then we obviously know the answer was yes.
Yes.
And I guess what changed in those 4 years, if anything did change?
Maturity. I was mature. I understood, like, I'd been there before. So I understood what it took to get there. And then I knew I had to do a little bit more if I wanted to medal. So it went a little bit like, and I got older. So it was a little bit less. When I was young, I used to try to outwork everybody in the room. Mm-hmm. As I got older and I realized that, your body is breaking down, I started training smarter. And I started watching film and I started breaking down film. And I still trained a lot, but I hired a nutritionist and I hired like a bodywork person. Yeah. And I started doing a lot of mobility and I got a professional strength and conditioning coach. So I invested a lot of time, energy, and money into the process. And I still was training hard and I still was going to Japan and I still was going to Europe and I still was going all over the world. But it was less about me trying to do every single round and me making sure I get quality rounds. And then instead of just grinding through everything, like going back and watching the film from those rounds and breaking it down and then doing the difficult work and not allowing my ego to get in the way at training. Right. So when I was young, I just want to beat the shit out of everybody. And I didn't care. Like, I was like, I'm going to beat you. If you stand in front of me, I'm going to beat the shit out of you because I want to go places that you can't go. And then when I got older, I learned how to train. And I learned that it doesn't matter if you can beat these guys because that's not going to get you to your goal of being the top 4 in the world. Like, these guys in this room aren't going to do that. But what is going to do it is you set a goal that you have to win, that you have to start throwing with this particular technique. This guy makes it hard. He's shorter, so now I can't get under him as easy. Do I let my ego get the best of me and revert back to another technique? Or do I figure out a way to see this through and do this? Even though I might leave practice really upset that day because it didn't work. Are you going to figure it out? Or are you going to go back to, your comfort zone? And that's what I had to sit with. And that's what I had to go through for those next 4 years.
That detail is something I've been trying to learn in the last 4 years of training. But like, I think that's the key thing that, as you mature in sports in general, but it's like getting out of the comfort zone and finding the thing you need to work on and working on that. It's tough. Because you can easily, this didn't work. I'll go back to my other thing and reset next. No.
Always.
If you don't get it, that's fine. Learn.
That's it.
Learn.
Absolutely.
So that was the big lesson you took into 2021?
Biggest lesson, like being more professional and learning how to train. So I had to learn how to train. I had to learn like when my body was hurt, when to back off, when to keep going. It was mature. It was just being mature. I got hired a sports psychologist. I realized how important the mental aspect was. Mm-hmm. And I realized that every single person is doing the same thing physically. Everybody's doing the same thing. Everyone trains the same. Everybody's in good shape. Everybody's working hard. Everybody's super strong. How would you win here? And I had to realize that. And that was a journey in itself. Yeah.
When you, what was the biggest thing that the sports psychologist helped you with mentally? I guess, was it being able to step back and be like, hey, maybe you don't need to train this day and it's okay? Or was it more so like the competition aspect? Like,
I think like staying present, right? Even how I approach training, staying present, writing down your goals, understand like short-term goals, long-term goals. And then every single day is going to bring a different challenge, but staying present there, right? And I used to have a set of goals on the back of my door, so I would see it every day. And I used to have a set of goals in my backpack that I would look at before training. Mm-hmm. And so I would constantly look at these things that I had to achieve. And number one, if something wasn't going to help me get there, I wouldn't do it. And number two, it was, how do I stay as present as possible? Because there's going to be people pulling you in different directions every day, right? And the more success that you achieve, different people are going to try to pull you in different directions. And I had people telling me, oh, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. And it was like, keep the meat, spit out the bones type thing. And how was I going to, like, even though I have a hurt ankle or my shoulder's hurt, or there's something that I can do. And as long as I stay present, and I don't go too far in the future and I don't look too far in the past, whether good or bad, right? I just come back from a tournament and I win this tournament. that no longer matters. That's in the past. This is your present moment. I just lost this tournament. That doesn't matter. This is your present moment. Stay here, stay grounded. And this is the only day that matters. This is today. You have today to get better. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. Hardest thing to do.
Fuck yeah. Especially it's easier to conceptualize it,
of course,
but once it happens,
doing it is crazy.
Oh, dude, doing it is crazy, especially after a loss.
Yeah,
because the only thing you're thinking about is what the hell did I do wrong?
Yeah,
it don't matter.
After a loss, like even after a win,
Doesn't matter.
After a win, you don't think after a win you think, hey man, I got it. Like I did everything right. I'm right where I need to be. I don't need to work on anything. I just need to keep doing the exact same thing. Couldn't be further from the truth.
Mm-hmm. You did everything correct in that moment.
But
another person can be better.
This is a new moment.
Yep,
this is a new moment, and you have to figure out. There's always something when you compete that, and you don't ever want to see it because when we evaluate ourselves, we don't like to look at this, but there's something that could have been done better. And it's your responsibility to look at that, even though you won. You didn't do everything right. You weren't perfect. So what could you have done better? And then that's what we now need to work on, right? But ego gets in the way, and you're like, fuck you. I just fucking won this thing. I don't need to do anything different. That's tough.
Yeah. I think that part right there is the key aspect that really sets off the professionalism. I like the word you use, because I'm just thinking back at my time in sports too. It's going back when like you go and win, and even if you dominated, what did you do wrong? Right? Because especially if you're dominating the person, you're going to start making silly mistakes because you have the room to.
100%. Oops.
That's the virus.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Fucking pop-ups.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, that aspect of like, okay, what adjustments do we need to make? Okay, we came out, we did what we wanted to, but how can we make this better?
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. And I mean, you're going for Olympics, right? You're going to be perfect as perfect you can get.
Yeah.
You know, everyone else is doing the same thing, so you have to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now walk us through 2021, because now you're here, you're more professional, you've learned from 2016, you took a different approach, and now you're in Tokyo. Back to where you went, what was it, 12 years before?
Full circle, bro. Yeah, it was wild. Well, that lead up was a lot crazier because of COVID, right? So in 2020, I planned on competing in the Olympics. I knew it was going to be my last one. So I had already I was like, I'm done after this. I'm retiring from sport. And I was the best I had ever been in leading up to 2020. So that lead up in March, 3 months into the Olympics, I had a countdown on my calendar. Like I have 90 days until I am done with judo for the rest of my life. I'm going to go as hard as I can for these 90 days. I'm going to leave everything I have out here, and then I'm done. I'll never have to do this again. I remember waking up from a nap, and I got a call from a writer at ESPN. And they were like, hey, Colton, like, can we get your comment on the Olympics being canceled? And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? The Olympics are canceled. And they're like, yeah, the Olympics are canceled. You haven't heard? Like, they shut it down because of COVID. And I was like, what? So then there was this weird time where all of the tournaments, I was getting ready to go on a plane to Morocco and like fight in this qualifier for the tournament. We were on our last few tournaments before the Olympics. Qualification was getting ready to end at the end of April. We're in March, end of March. We have 1 month left of qualification. And they're like, all the tournaments started getting canceled. So now nobody knows what's happening. So now it's like, what the fuck do I do? So I'm in like great shape. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for this thing to be over. I'm ready to compete. And the world shuts down. And more than that, we didn't know. Like the Olympics didn't get postponed. They just got canceled. And they're like, we'll let you know what happens. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but we'll let you know. Maybe it'll be next year. Maybe we won't have an Olympics. Maybe it'll be in Paris. And I was like, oh my God. I was directly qualified. I was like I was sitting at like 16 in the world, 15 in the world.
Shit.
Yeah, I was high. Like I was good. Like at that time, I was everything was on. And I felt like I was the best I was ever going to be in my career. And then I had to go through this period where nobody knew what was going on. And so there was months and I had to stay in some type of shape because I had to have some type of hope that this was still going to happen. So I was in shape. So I was running and I was training in the mountains. I was doing a lot of biking. I would fly down to Florida. There was only place in the country that would allow, I was 2 places. I would go to Boston and train with Travis Stevens for a weekend. And I would just train. Me and him would just fucking battle for
that's awesome.
Hours. Just me and him. We would just be in a closed dojo, just battling. And I remember actually one night was the night before his wedding. He got married at like a courthouse, but like obviously it was COVID, so there was only like 4 people that could be there. And we trained for like 2.5 hours, just me and him, just grinded, battle it out, and he went to his wedding with a black eye.
Go back to episode last week with Andy talking about
he always had a black eye. Yeah. So same thing. So Travis had a black eye at his wedding. So that was really cool. But yeah, man, there was nowhere else to train. So in Jersey, I would like do my strength and conditioning. I would lift. I would go do hill sprints and do a lot of stuff like that. And then I would fly either every other week. I would go to Boston, or I would fly to Miami to train. And I would just train for a week or two there, and then I would come back and I would do this. And I was doing that for like a year. And then they announced that the World Tour was going to be back on, but the Olympics got postponed for a year, so they're going to reopen Olympic qualification. No. So now you had to the qualification got extended. So there was 1 month left, and it got extended for 12 months.
Wow. So that, if I'm understanding this correctly, that 15 or 16 spot that you had, now you had to re-earn it.
Yeah, well, you had to keep it.
You had
to keep it. But they added like triple the tournaments. So there was so many more opportunities. And I'm like, well, I'm older. So I'm not competing every single weekend in another country, making weight and doing all this stuff and competing and because I was like, I have to be strategic about what I'm doing. So I go through a 4-week camp, compete. Go through another 4-week camp, compete. Some of these kids are competing every other weekend in another country, and they're accumulating these points. So it changed the game a little bit.
Psychologically, were you looking at the rankings constantly, or were you trying to stay present?
From 2014 until 2021, there was never a night that I like got a full night of sleep because I was constantly looking at these rankings.
Yeah,
constantly.
I can definitely see that. That's something I would do too. Yeah. I'd be like, what the fuck? Especially with you doing camps and and then every other week, I'd be like, fuck, did I get jumped? It's
crazy, man. And you're like looking at this and you're like, well, you're looking at the bracket, this person won't beat this person, and that person does beat that person, and weird things happen. So it was a stressful time. Like that was stressful, but I just put another calendar up, and I was like, all right, I got 6 months, 7 months, and this is it. And I got to leave everything that's in the tank has to be left here, because in 7 months I will never do judo again competitively. I was like, this, no matter what happens, I will be done in Tokyo. So I knew that, and I knew that COVID, whatever. This is something that I have to do. This is like something that has to be done. Why not be the person to do it once again? And that's what happened.
Fuck
yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, Tokyo was wild though, because there's no fans. It's like my family.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's no fans. So you're now doing judo, and again, this is the birthplace of judo. Tokyo, we sell out arenas in Tokyo. Tokyo is one of the greatest crowds because they're an educated crowd, and it's like you're in the birthplace of judo. We're in the same arena where the first Olympics ever happened. 1964 was the first Olympics ever in judo. It was in the Nippon Budokan. When I went to Japan in 2009, I went with with Nihon University to watch the All Japan Championships in the Nippon Budokan. Now I am ending my career and competing for the first time myself in the Nippon Budokan.
That's fucking awesome.
Crazy. It's full circle.
Yeah, that is full circle.
Yeah.
And like I said in the beginning, what I read is you got the 9th place, right?
Yep.
Now, how did that transpire? What happened there?
I had a bye first round.
Okay.
Fought Luxembourg second round. I beat him. I threw him for Ippon. So I threw him for full point, equivalent to a knockout. And then I fought.
Was it Germany?
No, it's a Slovenian guy that's actually a good friend of mine now. That was fighting. He got bought by Turkey, so he's fighting for Turkey.
Okay.
Yeah. So I fought the Turkish guy. He was a world silver medalist, so he took silver at the Worlds.
No shit.
Wow.
And we went deep into golden scores. So, and it's a weird, right? I had dinner with this guy the other night. Not the other night, like a month ago. I had dinner. I was in Slovenia, and I had dinner with him, and he was like, when we looked at the bracket, my coach and I looked at the bracket. I thought that you were going to be one of my like easier matches throughout the day, because Olympics are like 4 matches, but they're all really tough. He's like, I thought you were going to be one of my easier matches, and you ended up being the toughest match of the day.
Yeah.
So we went deep, man. We went deep into golden score. I lost by like a small point, and that was it, man. And I stood there. I genuinely thought I was going to win. So that was an emotional moment for me. I was on the mat, and like that was the first time in a long time tears had come to my eyes. But rewind before that, I was sitting on the mat, like before I fought. And it was the first moment in a long time that I remembered like I was back to like my 12-year-old self. And I remember the times where I was training with my dad, and I remember all the things that we went through. And I think maybe because it was my last tournament, I knew like I would never get to do this again. I was like, I'm going to make the most of this. But it was the most fun that I had warming up. It was the most fun that I had leading up to that event, and even fighting. Like I felt light. And I felt like a kid again, and I enjoyed the hell out of that process. And yeah, tears came to my eyes afterwards, but it was an emotional moment for me because I think more so because I knew I wasn't ever going to do it again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, it was a surreal experience, and I would never trade that for the world.
That's fucking. I'm getting goosebumps right now.
I got goosebumps. I can't put into words on how much that must have felt in that moment because right, you thought you were gonna win, right? And you lost this guy.
Yeah.
And so you said the golden rounds. What are those?
So like if you go 4 minutes of regulation and there's no score, it becomes golden score. So it's like sudden death overtime.
Oh, okay.
So the first score wins. And he scored on me first. Like it was probably 3 more minutes into the golden score, and then he scored on me. Yeah, it was like a 7-8 minute match, and then I got scored on. But it was tough, man.
Yeah.
And it was like I left everything I had out there, and I always tell like now when I coach my athletes, I tell them all the time. I said, win, lose, or draw, you leave everything out there. You're the only person that knows if you left everything out there, though. Like when you go to bed at night, only you know if you left everything on the table and you did everything in your power to win. I knew that I did that. So for me, it wasn't really about the loss. Like I wasn't really worried about the loss. It was more so like, man, I've been doing this one thing really well since I was 12 years old, and I never get to do it again. But I wanted to go out on my terms, and that was my terms. And I made a promise to myself that I never wanted to be remembered by somebody that competed past his prime. Mm-hmm. Like I never want to be remembered as that guy. Like, oh yeah, that guy used to be good, but now he fucking sucks. Like he's going way past his prime. So I always wanted to finish on my own terms. So I made a promise to myself. I made a promise to my dad. I said, after this event, you'll never see me compete in a gi again.
Shit.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, man of your word.
Man of my word. I have not competed.
But you know what? I think you alluded to it, right? Because now you're not the competitor, but you're the coach.
Yeah.
So that must bring a whole new set of not only challenges, but a lot of pride and a lot of emotion as well.
Oh, yeah. I never imagined, again, if you told 12-year-old Colton that you're going to compete in the Olympic twice, you're going to travel the entire world doing judo, and then you're going to go to open a training center with over 500 members, and you're going to be the Olympic team coach and the national team coach, and you're going to get to help all of these other kids accomplish their wildest dreams. I would have said no way. Mm-hmm. There's no way. That's too perfect. Life doesn't work out like that. Mm-hmm. And dude, I get to do this every day. I don't really go to work. Like I work crazy hours. You guys follow me on Instagram. I'm up early. I work a lot. I travel a lot, but it's not really work.
You're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying the hell out of
fun.
this. Yeah, it's fun. It's challenging because I'm not in control. When I was competing, I was in control.
Yeah.
I knew how hard I trained really hard. I can't dictate how hard these guys train or how hard they go, and I can't fight for them. Mm-hmm. So I'm not in control. But and everybody has different personalities and emotions, and I have to learn each athlete, and each athlete has to be coached as an individual. I can't. It's not a group thing at the highest level.
Mm-hmm. You're like almost playing psychologist.
It's a psychologist.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's you can't scream at this guy, or this guy needs to be coached a little tougher. This guy you need to coddle a little bit more. You need to check in with them more, and the more students that you get, and the bigger that pool gets, the tougher that becomes. But again, you have these people that are counting on you, and that believe you can genuinely help them accomplish the most important thing in their life. And I remember when I was competing, there was nothing else more important than making an Olympic team. That was the only thing that mattered. Nothing else mattered to me. I wasn't in tune with the world. I did not care. I didn't know or care what was going on in the world, and I know how these kids feel. So for me, like, I'm in a position to help them do that. Mm-hmm. I have to make sure that I'm giving 100% of myself at all times because I've committed to them. That's it.
Fuck.
How quick after that 2021 Japan, was this the direction, school and everything? Was that an image in your head? Did that just like one day pop? Like how did that come
COVID like kind of saved me. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought I was going to, maybe my dad owned a few medical equipment businesses. I thought I was going to work for him. I thought I was going to go into business and I was going to go into like medical device sales or something like that. But during COVID, I started giving private lessons, actually at Pure. So I started giving private lessons, and I realized like a couple of my clients at the time would send me these long messages, and they'd say, "Man, I thank you so much for helping me accomplish this goal. This is you're changing my life," and the fulfillment that I got from that, I was like, "Oh man, like this is what I want to do," but I don't know if it's sustainable. I don't know if I can actually make a living doing this stuff. So I had a long talk with Andy actually during that time, like when I was leading up to the Tokyo Olympics. Me and him would talk often. And I was like, you have a gym, you have a bunch of people. How do you make this happen? You were a fighter. And so we would actually talk and bounce ideas off of each other. And he's like, yeah, dude, do it. He's like, you can do it. He's like, you'll be surprised how successful you'll become. Mm-hmm. And he was right. So I think during that time of COVID, when I was training people, I planted the seed, and I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. And then when I retired in July of 21, the national team actually, I promised, another promise I made to myself was I'm not getting on another airplane. I was like, I'm not traveling for a while because I would travel all the time. The national team called me and basically were like, hey, the juniors are going to this tournament in like 2 months, and we need you to go to Colombia with them to coach them. And I was like, and we'll pay you. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know what else I'm doing, so I guess I'll do that. And I started traveling and doing that, and then I was like, all right, I want to open up my own place, and I took every dime that I had to open that. So it was kind of immediately after, to answer your question.
Yeah. Well, it's also cool too, is that like you coming to Pure to start doing some training, which next question is gonna be how that happened. But like having Andy coming from his background, it's very similar paths. Yeah. Completely different territories, MMA, but that's a very unique person to bounce ideas off of, because he did this kind of a similar path.
Same thing, yeah.
So like, and especially seeing their gym, how successful they are too. It's probably nice and easy. But like, how did you end up coming to Pure?
They had a judo, so they used to have a judo program there, mm-hmm. and they had me out for a seminar in 2018. And so I was living in Boston at the time, and I came to do this seminar in 2018, and then I moved back to Jersey to train for the Tokyo Olympics in like 2019-ish. And the judo coach there at the time would have me come in like, I think maybe once a week or once every other week to teach the class. And what he would do is he would be like, all right, yeah, you teach this class, and I will give like, I think the deal was like, he was like, you teach this class and I won't take anything from you for the private lessons. So like so whatever money I made from doing privates, I could keep. So he's like, I'll give you a couple clients and then you keep that money if you just teach this class. So I would teach the class, and then I would like, well, might as well stay for jiu-jitsu and train, because it wasn't like it wasn't the level of the judo training was like kind of a novice thing there at the time. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, the jiu-jitsu guys, there's some good guys here. So I was like, I'll train. So I used to just train both. And then I started talking to Andy that way. And me and him trained together a few, actually. So we would train, and he invited me to the Monday Pro training a bunch of times. And so we started talking after class, and he's like, well, what do you want to do after the Olympics? And I would tell him that. And he's like, yeah, dude, open it. And we actually talked for a long time. I would call him and text him, and we became good friends during that time. Yeah.
That's awesome. When you did open the gym, right? Because when people open up their own businesses, they always say about how like the hardest part is getting started, right? Yeah. So you're making that investment, you're taking all your pennies, right, and putting it into that. But I'm going to tie it back to your time in Japan. Yeah. Was it as hard, or probably wasn't as hard as that first trip to Japan? Like, did you use that to get in, or is it completely different?
It's different, but that was scary, because you have this thing. I had no plan B. This had to work. Yeah. So I took every penny that I had saved, all the time, effort, and energy that I'd put into judo over the years, and everything that I put in. And I was like, all right, I'm going to open this gym. And if this doesn't work, I have zero plan B. I don't know what I'm going to do. So this has to work. Mm-hmm. And I think when you go in with that mindset, it's a little bit different. So, but I knew, I knew I could teach, and I knew I was willing to work harder than any other gym, right? So I would pass on my way to my gym, from home to the gym, I would pass 3 other gyms. And I was, every day, they were closed when I was going to work, and every day they were closed when I was coming home from work. And I was like, that has to mean something.
Yeah.
So I just was like, dude, I'm going to grind. And I was just like, I'm just going to be here all the time. I'm going to teach as much as I can. I'm going to teach, these first couple classes when there's 1 or 2 people in here, I'm going to teach it like there's 100 people in this class. I'm going to give that energy. I'm going to make every single person feel seen. And I'm just going to, it's going to be one of those things. And from day one, because I enjoyed it. It was something I really liked doing. So I wanted to make sure that every single person that walked through there had the best experience that they've ever had training. And that was my goal. And I think my goal was 3 students a month at the time. I was like, if I can get three new students a month in 12 months, I'll break even. And I'll be at my break even number. And then I'll be okay. And then I think in month 1, we got like 50 students.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow. If we'll go 3 here. No, boom, 50. Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's awesome.
So, did you get a lot of experienced judo people coming through, or is this all brand new people?
Most of the people, so 95% of the people that came through the doors were just people that knew nothing about judo. They knew nothing about me. They knew nothing about martial arts. They were like, hey, we want to just train this for discipline or structure. We don't know who you are. Can I take a free trial class? What's the difference between judo and jiu-jitsu and MMA? And they didn't know.
Yeah.
So it was like people that had no idea. So, and that goes back to the point of, I wanted to make sure that I set the culture was right. So I wanted to make sure that everybody felt seen. So when you walk through that door, hello, how are you? How can I help you? Can I make sure that you have a really good experience, right? Because they don't know you.
Yeah.
So all they know is how you treat them from the start. And everybody always asks, like, what was the key to your success? And it was that, right? Making sure, like, from the second that you entered that door, no matter who you were, what walk of life that you came from, that you had a positive experience. And that was like, so that was kind of it. But so no, most people, they didn't know me in the beginning. A few did. Like, so I had a few people that were on the national team that knew me and that knew I just, I'm the coach now and I'm fresh off of the tour, and they would come train. But 95% of those people, they did not know me, or they didn't know judo, or they didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you were just
okay.
No, I was going to say that you sort of had to take your style of training your entire life and realize that you can't do that for every one of your students, right? Because that maybe it wouldn't fit,
right?
So that probably
it was tough, because it's like even now, but in the beginning especially, there'd be like 5 people on the mat, and 2 would be black belts and 3 would be white belts. How do you make sure that each of those guys gets what they need out of that training session? Yeah. That was the hardest part, and I had to figure that out early. And I was like, wow, how am I going to structure this training so that everybody gets what they need? And it was wild. Yeah. So that was my hardest thing that I had to deal with.
What was your techniques and strategies you go for that big spread black belts and white belts?
You know what the wildest thing is? Like, and even now I run practice like this. At the highest level, and no matter what level, it always comes down to the basics.
Yeah.
Even at the highest level.
Absolutely.
So the highest level, you look at like, all right, why did this kid lose this match at the World Championships? Well, he lost because he's fighting another righty and he hit the wrong hand on the gi. He got out gripped, and then that led to him getting thrown, right? It's not about knowing all of the best techniques. It's usually about, hey, where do I put my hands? How do I stop this other person from putting my hands there? My transitions from top to bottom, are they good? So I structured it where it was like, all right, we're going to focus on basics, but we're also going to do a ton of conditioning, because I also do, I don't believe in just, all right, let's do this technique. Let's drill it through comfort and then let's roll, right? Because then it's like, how do you really, you don't know if you have that technique unless you can really do it tired. Like, if I can perform that technique under stress, which is why, hey, you have so many people that say when they go to compete, oh, I felt like I didn't know anything. I felt like a white belt. Like, nothing worked. That's because you didn't truly know what you were doing, right? So I create an environment where we have a technique, I teach it, and then we drill it, and then we condition, and then we drill it again.
I like that.
And then we go live, and then we drill it again. And that's how
that at the end, drill it again. Because that's the thing I always, the traditional jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
30 minutes of drilling, 30 minutes of rolling, which is great.
Yeah.
But that catching back up the end when like you're exhausted and you completely forgot everything.
Yeah.
Like, you have to say the name 3 times to remember. It's you drilled it 3 times.
Right.
But you hit that at the end after you're exhausted, and you have to, you have to be paying attention.
Exactly.
You know,
and even
I like that technique.
And then you go to a competition, and when you're so tired that now your muscles don't work and nothing works, And then you have to do this thing. Now, when you go to a competition and you're dealing with nerves and you're dealing with stress and you're dealing with a bunch of people watching you, your girlfriend's in the crowd. Now it becomes muscle memory because you've built in that muscle memory through exhaustion. And that's the way I believe. And that's my approach.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that? And not even near like the stage level that you were competing on, but my very first jiu-jitsu tournament was NJBJF, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I training at Pure, I would always, I competed at a blue belt, but as a white belt, I was always going with the belts better than me, right? So I would fucking go balls to the wall. We would have a good training session. I was like, dude, I wasn't being cocky, but I was like, there's nothing that can scare me in this tournament.
Of course.
The first slap and bump, I don't know what the hell came over me. Some adrenaline dump. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
It's wild, bro.
So on that exact question, when you were competing, how did you manage that kind of stuff? Is that something you just learned that like you had your routine going? Like, because I remember one competition I came in and I wasn't even planning on doing it. Barely, the guy let me make weight. I was off by like a half a pound. I came off the sofa. He's like, whatever. And then I just had a straight adrenaline dump. I didn't warm up. I did nothing. Yeah. So like, what was and
that goes back to when I competed so much as a kid. I competed every weekend. I went to my dad made me go to every single local competition. I always competed. So whether it was the Olympics or a local tournament, I was always on the mat. So for me, I used to get nervous as a kid, but because I competed so much, it kind of became second nature. And I would always get nervous, but I learned how to deal with those nerves a lot better, right? And again, staying present. So it's like, what can you control in this exact moment? Okay, I control how I warm up right now. Like I don't care about who I'm competing against. Don't care. All I'm going to focus on right now is maybe my mobility routine. Okay, now that's done. All right, now I got to break a sweat. Okay, now that's done. All right, now what am I going to do against this guy? All right, you're going to go out, you're going to put 2 hands on the gi. That's what you can control. And then you're going to get to your attacks. And then you're going to figure it out as you go. And hey, you walk out, you bow, put 2 hands on, and then everything takes over. That's it.
Yeah. Man,
staying present. Because I think a lot of times, like, if you get ahead of yourself, like, oh, God, I got to compete against this guy, and I don't know what he does. And you're so worried about what these people are doing, then you forget what you have to do. So it's like, I was always like, all right, I'm aware of what this other guy might do, but I'm worried about me. And I'm worried about getting to my strengths, right? If you dwell on this person too much, and then most times they don't even end up doing what you think they're going to do. That's the wildest part. So, yeah.
Well, like to go back to your Olympic, the first 2 you opponed the first 2 opponents in both 2 Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Like that, I bet you that guy was probably like, oh, I didn't think he was going to oppone me.
Didn't think it. That's it, man. I was worried about me though. That's all you can do. I think if you focus on yourself and you stay really present and just control what you can control in that moment, it takes away the nerves because now you're like, all right, this is all I have to focus on. I don't have to focus on anything else.
Yeah. It's so funny about that because when you do compete, I guess the human nature, right, is to always be thinking about the other guy.
Always.
But you never consider the fact that guy's probably also nervous.
Thinking about you.
Thinking about you, right? Like,
that's it, man.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Fuck. So you are in plug. I know I said what your gym is. You know, your Colton Brown Training Center in Warren, New Jersey. But plug it a little bit more, man. How's it grown since then? How many? You know, where are you at with students wise? Where are your goals at with that?
Yeah, you know, we have It's been, man. I've been blessed, man. We've created a really good culture. Another thing I learned from Andy, like he told me a lot about culture. So I give hats off to him, right? We have over 500 students now.
It's been 4 years you've been open?
4 years.
Congrats.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
Pure has a lot of students, but they've been 12 years they've been open, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And I don't know when they hit that number, but like 4 years, you have 500 students. Yeah. So that culture, Andy talked about this on last week's episode too. That culture really is what sets the gym apart and what keeps people coming back.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't really focus on new members. Like a lot of people are like, oh, what's your goal for the month? I don't set a goal anymore, right? I just focus on giving every single person that comes through those doors the best possible experience, right? And if you can keep students, those students become your sales people, right? And those students go out and tell everybody, hey, you got to come here. You got to train at this place. Oh, man, what they're doing over here is awesome. It's contagious. So and that's what I believe in, right? I don't market. I don't do much. Like I'll post like a couple of video clips on my story just so you can kind of get it. Like you can kind of get a glimpse into the vibe of the place. That's it. And that's I don't like sell when you come in. Hey man, come to my gym. Leave here. Do this.
Yeah.
Here's my prices. This is what we offer. Take a free trial class. This is the price sheet. You make a decision. That's it. And that's
No
what
pressure.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I remember listening to. I met a couple of guys when I did this thing called Guns and Geese, and they both own their own gyms.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how when they bring someone in for the first time, it's not only is this person a good fit for us, it's are we a good fit for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
absolutely. It's huge. So yeah, man, that's kind of my approach, and I'm having so much fun. So like this, I get to wake up. I don't sit at a desk really much. I do some back end stuff, but not really. I get to be on the mats all day, every day, helping people accomplish their goals. Whether it's the person that's going for the Olympics or whether it's the CEO that needs this hour to get through his day or her day. And it's a blessing when I have people from all different walks of life in the same room. Like last night, I think we had, 50, 55 guys on the mat at the adult judo practice. And
that's amazing.
People from all different belts, all different backgrounds, and thriving as one. And like when you look at that and you take a step back and you look at that, you're like, that's special. So I get to be a part of that, right? And
50
huge.
people for a judo class is huge. Yeah. I remember seeing the judo class this year, and I never did it. I was just too worried about getting hurt.
Yeah, of course.
I'm turning 36 next week.
Yeah.
So like it was too late for me in my career.
Yeah.
I'm playing lazy jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah.
But how is that like with these people? Because these are average Joes, right?
Yeah.
It's not that. Do you have Olympic people at your gym? People going, but it's you have the gambit of the average Joe to the Olympic compete.
Oh, yeah.
So how does that culture in with the training? Because I know how pure is and everyone's great and it's good vibes, but like you know who to go with, you want hard and like.
So I think what happens is, especially here, those guys. So what everybody told me in the beginning, they're like, you're gonna have to separate your classes. Like you're gonna have to do a beginner class and then you're gonna have to do an advanced class. And what I found was that those guys, like the guys that are just general practitioners, love being in the same room as the Olympic hopefuls. And they love saying that they train with these guys. And they see them on USA Judo all over social media, competing all over the world. And they say, hey, my wife, I get to train with that. Hey, look, this is who I train with on a daily basis. Look, I'm in a picture with this guy.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think, like, again, I focus a lot on basics. It's a hard class for everybody. But when those guys go with the Olympic guys, like so when the Olympic or the national team guys, we'll call them national team guys, go with the regular people, they're the safest rounds for them. Yeah, because they're never going to hurt them, right? Like they're like, dude, those guys are like, where we go run into danger, and which I don't allow, white belt. I don't let white belts go white belts, right? So no white belt can train with another white belt. You have to go with a green belt or higher, because that means that person has been in the game long enough where they're going to, first and foremost, they're going to train safe, and they're not going to hurt you, and there's not going to be ego at play. So when these guys go with the best guys in the room, they're, it's a fun game, and everybody's thriving together, and that's
the white belt on white belt. You don't do. You're saying that, I'm like, it makes sense, because like
so
you watch jiu-jitsu. The other thing too is like white belt and white belt. What are you learning?
You're not learning anything. It's like who can be stiffer and stronger, and try to get to an injury faster. Yeah, that's it.
Who can be stiffer and stronger? That's true.
It's the worst, bro. It's the worst.
I like that, but you were saying like the black belts at the safest rounds. I'm like, yeah, you're right. They are, because like
no black belt's gonna hurt you.
Like I roll with Mikey.
Oh yeah,
I feel the most safest round ever. He'll tap me 10 times in a row, but I feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah, man.
That's
because he's so experienced. Mikey's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
So he knows, and he's gonna use technique to submit you, but it's a game to him.
Yeah.
So that's what most of these black belts.
Yeah. I was just curious on the aspect from judo, because you get
tossed.
You get tossed.
They throw clean. Like you're not like throwing and landing on them or things like that. Like it's like a lot of foot sweeps, and they throw clean and they control.
So I think it was back in like 2021. I was following Travis Stevens for a little bit on Instagram.
Yeah.
He was showing like instructionals with one of, I guess, his like black belt students, and the way he was just tossing him, I was like,
yeah, he's crazy.
This is definitely controlled, but this sounds like this fucking hurts.
That's Travis.
That's it.
That's Travis. I was with Travis last weekend, right? And that's how he is. And Travis is one of these guys where, and I tell him this all the time, Travis believes, like, he's like, dude, you got to put somebody through the mat. And that's his thing. And he like will go up, like he'll do a seminar at a BJJ place, and he'll like freaking slip, boom, boom, and slam this guy. And I'm like, dude, that's not what these guys are here for. Like, you don't need to do that. And that's where we disagree a little bit. But that's Travis. And that's why Travis was so successful. Because he was like, he had one speed. That was my training partner for years. And we would get into fist fights almost every day on the mat and then go out to dinner with each other. And it's one of my best friends. It's crazy. But we would literally fist fight almost every day. Yeah. And we would get into it. Bad. And then we would go out and we would be fine. And that's like, again, to this day, one of my best friends because we respect each other.
Sure.
But that's his mentality. Yeah. And his mentality is you have to go through every single person. Everything is an obstacle that you must go through. Me, if I can take a little detour around, I'm going to take that detour around, right? If I can foot sweep you or take a little foot sweep and everybody can be happy and we can all leave happy, cool. Travis is like, no, I'm going to put you through the mat so you never come back.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm going to thank you on that because I did come one night. I came to one of your classes in the beginning.
Yeah.
And we were going like rounds and I actually went with you and thank you for not slamming. You did the foot sweep. You foot slapped me like 50 times. I'll take that. No slams. That was good.
Anytime, man. Yeah, that's my approach. I don't, and I'm a lot nicer since then. I was still like coming off of competition. Like now I'm really nice.
Well, do you know who I would? I don't train with him anymore because he's now one of your head instructors as well, Rob.
Yeah.
But every time I go with Rob, I stand with him because I know I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I know he's gonna toss me.
Yeah.
But there's something inside of me, Rob. If you're listening and watching, there's something inside of me that thinks, you know what? This time is gonna be the time I single leg you.
Yeah.
Nope. Uchimata. Boom.
Rob is good, man.
Yeah.
He's good. He's well versed in judo and jiu-jitsu.
No. So he, I think he's in charge of the
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I said MMA because his thing is Rob Alex MMA. Do you guys have an MMA program?
We have an MMA program. There's another guy in charge of that.
Okay.
So Rob is in charge of jiu-jitsu.
Got it.
Yeah, and he's done a great job growing that program as well.
How long have you guys? So were you just judo when you opened? Do you have
No, we did judo and jiu-jitsu. Joe Campisi was in charge of that. It was Joe and Rob that were doing the jiu-jitsu thing.
Okay.
And then Campisi's at Pure. And Rob took over the jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So he's full time, and then we added MMA after that. So we added an MMA program probably a year and a half ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. And man, now everything is doing well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like it. That's awesome. I love how everything like bounces off the other. The judo to the jiu-jitsu and everything. Yeah,
it works.
That's awesome.
It works absolutely.
So I know you talk about like goals, short term, long term.
Yeah.
It seems like right now business is thriving.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go from here? Like, what do you want to do? You just want to keep having fun? Like, what's the plan?
I don't know. I just want to have fun, right? The plan I think is I want to coach at the LA Olympics in 2028 in LA.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to be one of the Olympic team coaches there. I want 3 of the people from my training center to qualify. 3 of the 14 slots I want to be from my training center. I think that we can do that. Mm-hmm. But in LA, there's going to be an Olympic trials because we now get it's because you're a home country, you get the 14 slots. So now you don't have to qualify as one of those top 18 in the world. Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
So now it's like, because we're the host country, all we have to do is, once again, be the best in the U.S.
Yeah.
So now there's going to be an Olympic trials where like the best 8 players in every division in the U.S. are going to compete at the Olympic trials. So I think that we're going to put probably 10 to 12 people in the Olympic trials. And then if 3 can make the Olympic team from my place, that'd be awesome, man.
Oh, that'd be fucking sick.
Huge goals.
That'd be fucking
awesome.
sick.
Yeah,
well, let's shout out your team. I think, Reese, you just came back from the Junior Olympics or Olympics?
Junior Olympics. So I came back from
Okay.
the Junior Olympics in Spokane last weekend. And yeah, I had I think 5 gold and 2 silver medals. So
Holy
Nice,
crap.
congrats.
Wow. Yeah, thank
Hell
you,
yeah,
man.
man.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's always, they were probably pumped.
They are not ever really satisfied. It's a weird thing, man. This group is I love it because I was the same way. But now I'm like, dude, just take 24 hours to enjoy this win. And they don't they're just like, no, we want more. And they're hungry. And it makes my job a little bit tougher. But yeah, man,
It makes it tougher. I was going to say it makes your job. I thought I was going to say it makes it easier.
No, man, because I have to find ways like with this group. I have to tell a lot of them to back off a little bit, right? Like to take their foot off of the gas. And that's tough because a lot of them don't want to be coachable in that way. They believe more. And sometimes it's like, dude, disconnect for a week, come back and miss it. Like learn to miss it. And then it'll give you a new perspective coming in. It'll make you a little hungrier coming in because now you're not just going through the same daily grind. And I believe there's a place for grind, but I also believe there's a place for perspective. And that is, you only get that when you back off of something and you allow yourself to miss it and maybe watch as a fan or a spectator and then come back. So I think, and that resets everything too. So getting them to do that is tough.
I like that concept. I'm just coming back from Lyme's disease, so first time training in 3 weeks.
There you go.
And it's the missing part. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. But I never took that as a tool or a technique. It was always like come back and like you come back after a week or two. You stop doing that like routine stuff you do or that dumb stuff. You don't go back to your easy stuff. Okay, cool. And like things are like, oh, that was it the whole time. Why did I not do that?
Right.
You get rid of the bad habits.
Why did I suck at this a week ago?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But it's like
different perspective.
The bad habit you kept doing. Like I don't know why I was doing that.
Yes.
But the missing it part too. I like. Your foot's on the throttle. You're still going after, but like the missing part, like I guess you're appreciating it more now. While still going full throttle. I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that concept.
No, it's huge. Like at the highest level, it's really important that you get a chance to miss it, right? And even at any level, I think that if you can take a step back, right? Like I learned the most from judo in my career when I was injured and I had to sit on the sidelines. And I learned more from sitting on the sidelines, number one, because I wanted to be out there so bad. And number two, because now you're not the one that's in it. When you're in it, you usually have your 5, 6, 7 techniques that you do really well, and you stick with those techniques. Now, when you're injured, two things happen, right? You watch first, and you watch other people missing opportunities. So now that's in your head. And then when you go back, whatever injury that you're hindering now, your ankle or your shoulder, you have to learn to work around that, and that usually requires different techniques or developing different techniques. So that's, and so for me, I was like, well, let's not wait until we get injured to do this. How about we look at this every 2 months and say, okay, let's take a couple of days off. Like go take some mental health, go to the beach, go watch judo, and then come back and then tell me a couple of things that you learned from watching that you can't see or feel when you're in there yourself.
That's interesting. Yeah. I never thought of it that way. When you're watching, you're thinking about what other people missed.
Right.
Fuck.
Right. Yeah.
Damn.
That's my approach. Yeah.
Nah.
I guess that's the key important part though is like what holes are you missing? Because you're competing, right? There's always going to be opening.
Yep.
And it's funny you're saying that as a spectator because when I'm watching jiu-jitsu, I'm like, oh, that's there. And like, why do I never see this when I'm doing it? And like in the heat of the moment you're competing, you don't always have that perspective.
Always.
You're a 5-foot view, not the 50-foot view.
Of course.
But yeah, that I like that concept though. That seeing the missing the spot that's open.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. Yeah.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah.
This I'm really, really pumped that first of all, thanks again for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
Because this is we have a lot of really cool people that come on, but you're definitely the first Olympian that's ever come on the show.
Awesome.
And it's always a different mindset.
Yeah.
So the one question that I was thinking to myself this entire week leading up that I want to ask you is, and by the way, you've laid it out in different areas throughout this show, but I want you to give an answer right now in one. For any one of your students that may be listening or anyone that is thinking of going Olympian in any type of sport, what's it going to take?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I think it's going to take an insane amount of work. I think you have to be willing to do you're trying to accomplish something that less than 1% of the population gets to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And whenever you're against those odds, you have to be willing to do what 99% of the population is not, right? So, I mean, I lived my entire life through discipline. Right? I missed dances and proms and parties and brunches and friends' birthdays and families' birthdays and holidays and things like that, all growing up. From age 13, 14, when I was traveling, cutting weight, doing whatever, I couldn't go to those events, right? I was uber focused on this one thing, and I wasn't even sure if that was going to pay off, right? And that's the hardest part, right? Because you don't even know. It's like, hey, if you do these things, there's still a chance that you might not accomplish this goal. That's the hardest thing to live with, but you have to put your head down and work in hopes that, man, if I do accomplish this goal, it's going to be incredible, but either way, I'm learning to fall in love with the journey. So there's two things. I think if you work incredibly hard and you're passionate about it, you fall in love, you enjoy that journey, I think your chances go way up, right? There's never a blueprint. I don't think there's a blueprint, but if there's one piece of advice I have, it's that. And I think that's the reason why everything I've done since then has been easy, because my entire life was about work. And it's about, hey, this is this work that has to be done. This is what I want. This is the work that has to be done in order for me to have any chance of getting this or accomplishing this goal. And that's it. And then, like, I always tell my students, right now, even now, like, when I see something or I want something, I put my head down and I work. And I go get it. Nobody else is going to get it for you. Go get it. And I think if you have that mentality and understand that there's going to be a ton of adversity that you're going to have to go through. And where most people quit, you can't. And you have to find a way through it. There's the Travis Stevens. You find a way through it.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes.
You just got to go through it. Right? And I think that's the biggest thing for me. So, and I use it in my daily life today. Again, still, like, even now, we're 4 years in, I still pass those same 3 gyms, and those same 3 gyms are close. And a lot of people in my position would coast, but the work isn't done, right? I have a lot more people that I need to impact, and I have a lot more to do in this grappling space. And I can't let the man next to me outwork me.
Yeah, love that. I fucking love that. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the fact that you have fallen in love with it, the fact that you don't feel like you're working every day, those other people that you need to get to.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's probably not work, so to speak. It's not
You're
hard.
Right. Exactly. And that's it. Like, I think that's why you have to have passion. If you're not passionate about it, it's never going to work, right? If you're chasing money or you're chasing some type of weird fame, it'll never work, right? I'm doing this because at my core, this is what I was meant to do. I love this. Like, when I am not doing judo, I'm watching judo. When I'm not doing jiu-jitsu, I'm watching jiu-jitsu. I'm watching MMA. Like, this is what I love. And so for me, it's not really work, right? It's work. And sometimes, trust me, there's times where I don't want to be there, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. That was good.
Love it.
That was perfect. Awesome. Do you have anything?
No, I asked all my questions. There's a lot of gold in this episode.
That was
I had a lot of fun.
That was, man. I really, once again, appreciate you for coming on, man. I had a lot of fun learning about you and your journey, man.
Thank
really,
you, brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys having me, man. This has been really fun.
Yeah,
for
awesome.
coming.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Folks, you heard it here. There's a lot of gold in that. There was an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Go back and re-listen, and then go back and re-listen, and then when you're tired again after training, re-listen. No, but all kidding aside, a lot of gold there, especially if you're looking to achieve something very high and honorable in your life. If you're looking to compete at the highest levels or in anything, there's a lot of gold that you can take away from Colton. So we love you guys. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. We'll take it from here. Episode 235. We'll see you next week.